Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio, and it's getting better by the day. So today, I am showing you a new Giratina card. It's Giratina Prism Star. But of course, before we start the video properly, I've got to say a very happy Thanksgiving to all my lovely American friends out there. I know not all of you watching this are American, but a great number of you that are watching this are. So happy Thanksgiving to you. I hope you're having a lovely day. And also, let's give thanks to David Hockman, Rappelman TCG, for translating this lovely card for us. So it is a psychic Pokemon, which means you're hitting weakness against things like Espeon and Garbodor, although the attack will one-hit KO Garbodor anyway, it doesn't really matter. It is weak to darkness, which, as I've said in a bunch of videos lately, is good, because honestly, darkness is not a relevant type at the moment. There's no good darkness Pokemon, so this is pretty nice. Resistance to fighting is very good. We got stuff like Buzzwole. Buzzwole's very good at the moment. Having resistance is nice. And a retreat cost of 2 is annoying because it's neither 1, nor does it let you use Heavy Ball. It is, as I've asserted on many occasions, the worst retreat cost in the game. 160 HP is in line with the other Prism Star Pokemon, so at least it's fair. And actually, while we're here, let's remind ourselves that this is a basic Pokemon, which means that Max Elixir to accelerate energy is on board, and we can always use something like Fighting Fury Belt to give Giratina an extra 40 HP while making sure that his attacks do 10 more damage. And when we look at his attack, 10 more damage will hit some key numbers. Now, the ability here is what we really like, and if it sounds familiar, it probably should. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to your bench, you may attach 2 psychic energies from your hand to this Pokemon. Now, it is hand, not deck, so you have to have the psychic energies in hand in order to actually do this. But if you've got 2 psychic energy in hand, you can play Giratina down with 2 psychic energy attached to it. And as we're going to talk about in a minute, there's several things we can do with this. It should sound familiar because it's Pachirisu from Call of Legends. Now, Pachirisu from Call of Legends was a lightning type Pokemon, which accelerated lightning type energy. But other than that, same deal. Same ability. You just get 2 extra psychic type energies with the added bonus that you've got a lot more HP and you've got a potentially useful attack. Although I should remind anyone who's a bit unfamiliar with Prism Star Pokemon, they do have particular rules. You can only play 1 Giratina Prism Star in your deck, although you can play other Prism Stars as well. And when it is discarded, it goes into the lost zone. It does not go into the discard pile. That means there's 1 per game and it will never be recovered. So, why do we want to attach these 2 energies? Now, if we look at the attack, which we'll get into more in a minute, that's 4 energies, that's quite a lot. But there's other things we can do. Now, to go back to Pachirisu, that was often combined with the Shaman from Unleashed. The Shaman from Unleashed just let you rearrange your energy on your field. That was beautiful. So this was played with something like Zekrom. You put Pachirisu down with an extra 2 energy. You use Shaman to move them over to a Zekrom, and then you smash. Big problem. We don't have a Shaman in the format at the moment. We don't have a Pokemon with this ability. Although if we got a Pokemon with this ability, it would instantly see play in a whole heap of decks. But we don't have it at the moment. That's a little bit sad. However, we do have Lunala from Sun and Moon. Now, I've been saying for a long time that we need psychic type energy acceleration. I still regularly get comments and messages about Toxapex GX, and the general things I said at Toxapex are, right, firstly, it's weak to Garbodor. That's an issue. Secondly, free energy is a lot. Well, this really helps. The Lunala from Sun and Moon allows you to just rearrange your psychic energy whenever you feel like it. So, you actually kind of do have a Shaman here. You drop your Giratina down with 2 extra energy attached, and then you can move them wherever you need using your Lunala. That, ladies and gentlemen, very nice indeed. You could, of course, use something like Energy Switch or Multi-Switch, but it just seems a little bit awkward. Then you're having to play 2 item cards as well as the Giratina and all of that. It's a little bit awkward. I'm not a huge fan, but it's an option. Now, in terms of getting the energy into your hand, might I suggest using something like Professor's Letter? I know it's a bit dull, but ladies and gentlemen, it's a good card and it can still be used. You could, of course, use the Pau Oricorio, whose ability is just a Professor's Letter, but do remember that it is a Pokemon. Therefore, it takes up a bench space, so little bit awkward. And given that Giratina is a basic Pokemon with an ability, it will be turned off by both Garbodor, which is very prevalent in the format at the moment, and it will also be turned off by Alolan Muck. Now, that's not seeing a huge amount of play at the moment, to be honest with you, but maybe one day in the future it will, at which point this Giratina is a lot more rubbish. And you can use a Bridget to search for Giratina, but remember that Bridget puts it straight onto your bench, and the best thing about Giratina is this ability, which only activates when you play Giratina from your hand onto your bench, so although you can use Bridget to search for a Giratina, don't. The other option you've got here, rather than just using something like a Lunala to switch the energy round, is actually use something like Ninja Boy. Ninja Boy allows you to choose one of your basic Pokemon in play, search your deck for a basic Pokemon and switch it with that Pokemon, and shuffle the first Pokemon into your deck. Now, Ninja Boy combos nicely with Giratina for two reasons. Firstly, as we're going to see, Giratina, although not a terrible attacker, is certainly an underwhelming attacker. But secondly, it puts Giratina back into your deck. Giratina is at its best when you're playing it from your deck onto your bench with an extra 2 psychic energies attached. So you use Ninja Boy after playing a Giratina, you've then got 2 energies on a new Pokemon, and you put Giratina back into your deck, ready to then play down later on in the game with 2 more energies attached. That sounds like an awful lot of fun to me. But then we've got other things we can do with Ninja Boy here. Now, one of my favourites, and I'm not sure how much it would work, but I want to try it, Necrozma GX. Now, it's weak to Garbodor, which, as we mentioned earlier in the video, is, shall we say, less than ideal, but it's got Black Ray GX. Free energy, 100 damage to all of your Pokemon's EXs and GXs. So, if you play down a Giratina, you attach 2 energy to it, play a Ninja Boy, add a 3rd energy, and you're ready to go. You could even use Prismatic Burst for 190. 10 damage, discard all psychic energy attached to Necrozma, 60 more for each one you discard. So if you play a Necrozma down using Ninja Boy from a Giratina, you can then add a 3rd energy and Prismatic Burst for 190, which will hit the numbers on something like a Turtonator or a Ho-Oh, for instance. This is pretty nice. Now, I'm not saying this is the only one. Do remember that you can evolve with a Ninja Boy as long as a pre-evolution has been down for a turn. So you couldn't do it the very same turn, but if you put Giratina down, waited a turn, you would then, for instance, be able to Ninja Boy into a Mareanie, immediately evolve into a Toxapex, add a 3rd energy, and then you are off. Just so we're clear, I'm not saying Toxapex is a particularly good card. I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm just saying that it is an option. People like it. People keep asking me how to use it. This is one of the best ways. We should look at the attack a little bit as well while we're here. 160, discard 2 energy attached to this Pokemon. Now, one thing that is quite nice is discard 2 energy. So if you get 4 psychic energy on there, then you can attach a double colourless and discard it. Next turn, attach a double colourless and discard it, while keeping the 4 psychic energy on there. I'm going to be very quick about this. I'm not a fan. Now, 160 itself doesn't do very much, but with a Fighting Fury bout, you hit 170. And you're getting Tapu Lele. With a Choice Band, you're hitting 190 and getting things I mentioned earlier, like Ho-Oh. The problem is, it's 4 psychic energy. That's a lot of psychic energy, and I'm just not a particularly big fan of this, to be perfectly honest. Lunala Prism Star does 20 damage for every energy on the field for 4, which I think is a better attack the vast majority of the time, because you're doing 80 just with a 4 energy on Lunala. Then you add your opponent's energy and your other energy, and that will most of the time be better. I just don't love putting 4 energy on any Pokemon to attack. I think we can do better. As energy acceleration, I love it. As an attacker, it's fine. I'm not saying this is a bad attack. I am saying that the attack is very expensive for an attack which will only really KO basic GXs. This will not get a KO on a Zoroark GX, a Decidueye GX, a Metagross GX. There's way too many GXs this doesn't get a one-hit KO on. And I'm just not loving it for 4 energy. No, I don't think it's an attacker. But in any deck where you want to accelerate psychic energy, this is really good. And for that reason, I'm giving it between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. No one liked Pachirisu as an attacker. And yet it was still a really good card. I think that's where we are with Giratina Prism Star. But as always, I want to know what you think about this. Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and so forth, you can do so by going to patreon.com/PTCGRadio. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.